Welcome back to the Cyber Grind, kiddos. Last part I delved into the first layers of hell, fought horrible looking enemies, stone-faced spiders, thinking men statues come to life, bro-fisted an undead giant, accepting the fact that Mail just sucks at the game, and whipping Archangel's ass so hard his divine light has severed. If those descriptions sounded familiar, then yeah, it's all. Now we have reached Act 2, Imperfect Hatred, and we descend ourselves into Egypt. Greed is a wonderful place, full of sand, temples, and lots of new enemies to fight. Speaking of new enemies, the only non-boss angel in the game known as a virtue. They're not your normal everyday assholes. They're divine assholes. Some of these do move around, but normally they're stationary turrets that shoot orbital strikes at your location, and there's nowhere to hide, especially on the ground. Want to know one solution? Rail cannon. Upon death, they explode and will send anyone flying in its radius. Oftentimes, it will send you to a pit. This level can be bypassed if you know the secrets. The challenge here is to not face off enemies, and as you can see, the first trigger is right here. Don't worry, there's a way to go around these pesky spawners. Also, want to see a new power-up? Guns Akimbo.
Double the gun, double the fun.
Akimbo power-up lasts a short while, except in this room is infinite, theoretically. Want to make this even more fun? This power-up stacks. But I doubt that there's a legit way to do that besides the sandbox. God damn, the sun has all the landmarks of an iconic level. You have the Statue of Liberty, Big Ben, the pyramids, and even the Eiffel Tower. Also, the game tells you that sand is dangerous, demonstrated by these filth whom you got style points out of. What if I told you that this ain't your average everyday dune sand, but some goddamn gold dust? So the game spices up the flow, stating that you're getting a little too comfortable absorbing the blood off of enemies. So now they bleed sand instead. And you can tell by the coat of shiny shit. Also, meet a new enemy who blows himself up into sand that turns surrounding enemies into bloodless bastards I have to fight.
You know what that is? That's bullshit!
You can prematurely detonate these big-ass bombs, but rarely is in a safe distance from it and the enemies. Next thing is that there's 2 rooms I had to grab skulls, so I had to place them in altars near the exit. Simple, but these rooms won't let you leave without a fight. Divine assholes. Once you get the 2 skulls in place, you think that opens the door. Well, it turns out there's one more key in the shape of a boss fight. This thing, the insurrectionist's biggest weak point being, well, anything that isn't that big boulder, acting like a mix between a Morningstar and Mjolnir. Anyways, you like dark themes? Well, here's a level that's nothing but darkness. A labyrinth of pain, suffering, and there's a crack here. There's a blue altar here, but I guess I can open these tombs. Wait, hang on a second. Are these YouTubers I don't recognize? Oh. Hello, Matt. I'll be back.
Finally, our waiting puzzle is over. What? Full auto. Full auto.
This mysterious druid knight in L had 2 attacks, full auto and fuller auto. The latter spams a ton of homing projectiles that the Mind Flayer had. Oh, by the way, that's Mandalore Gaming and Shammy. They made good content. Enjoyed Mandalore's Cabela's Dangerous Hunts videos. As of the other skeletons, well, the first one is Wooly and Pat Stares At, and then Icarus Lives, known for his Doomwad videos, and G-Man Lives, whom I'm subscribed to. Also, the other tombs I haven't opened contain Markiplier and Vinesauce. Not Joel, Vinny. Anyways, let me high noon the fuck out of Mandalore for now.
Full auto. Full auto.
You know, I was expecting some sort of prize here. The climax of this chapter, I ascend upon the pyramid, and you see the skull here? Well, I don't have access to it for now, so let's move on. Hello, you little usurper. Nice arm. It will be a shame if someone took it from you again. This version of the V2 fighter had new tricks up his sleeve. He can toss coins or shoot yours, unload his nail gun, and other fancy things. But here's one critical flaw. He has no railgun to ultra-kill me. Oh yeah, you think you're gonna get away from me like a bitch? Boy, let me tell you a little something. There's no escape from a vampiric machine such as myself. Pack Watch. Rest in piss, bozo. Thanks for the new arm. The Whiplash is a wonderful tool, and thank the gods you don't need to switch arms to do so. You just need to press R and there it goes. It has great range. Grapple onto these green or blue spheres to pull yourself in, and you can pull a scorpion on some lowly enemies or grapple yourself to the larger ones. Plus, it's useful for collecting or replacing skulls from a distance. So I restart the level after completing it, because I wanted something. The saw blade shoots bigger, meaner projectiles that ricochet, but this one's quite tricky to use because unlike the nail gun that attracts like magnets, the saw blade orbits around it. Not useful if you stuck a magnet on a Mace or in tight spaces. Wrath is the quintessential water levels. People would get flack on ice levels because, quote, matraction, even though ice is easy to manage if you know how to control the momentum. Or people bitching on lava levels for practically tight platforming, and water levels for, well, robots don't breathe on the water, so oxygen is a non-issue. What is an issue is the fact that I can't use my railgun effectively. You know, it's an electric rail cannon. Underwater. Figure that out. In this pseudo hub area, you need to place 3 skulls, obtained from 3 rooms. The first room is full of bitches and a place I can nuke them with a railgun. Second room had 2 Cerberoi and a Maurice. And the last room was full of enemies, a Virtue, and a Mind Flayer. After ascending through the tubes and out of the water, you'll meet some new friends. The Sentries. Basically walking Barrett 50 cals who will wreck you. Worse if they come in packs, because the only ways to deal with these bastards are knuckle blasting, railgun, ground pounds, or lucky revolver shot to the antenna. You can charge back like the Maurices, but the timing's different because they're grounded. Upside is that they have to charge up their shots, giving you some time to deal or avoid them. Anyways, I get wrecked in the final room. Next level is already nice looking from the previous update, but this had some light touch-ups here and there. Also, if you die before reaching the first checkpoint, the level resets. This is where the tight platforming hits because the water now hurts you, and this Maurice is being an asshole. Entering this room spawns one lowly filth, who has armament hockey that my weapons don't match. Thing is, there is a new support enemy. Okay, this one doesn't hurt you because it's an inanimate holy object known as the idol. No, not these idols. Not these idols. These idols. It can't be destroyed by your weapons, unless you fisted them, and it sends you flying. You know, I think John Carmack has a point. The idol statues changes up the whole combat flow because in the hierarchy of enemy priority, it goes way up there, because oftentimes these protect high tier enemies. Anyways, despite being in the ocean, summoning the Titanic, and fought so many goons, you meet the ferryman. You could fight him, but here's the thing. Remember the old river Styx with the skeleton man who accepts the coin for safe passage? Behold, the power of Dolor. Behold, the power of Dolor. Damn it, behold the power of Dolor. Yeah, I'm blue balling you from the ferryman fight. What you gonna do? Make a mean comment? Besides, the ferryman isn't the worst enemy you'll face, because this level holds a dark secret. The Ship of Fools is one of the coolest levels. This one room where it's absolute chaos with the chandeliers falling down, this spiral staircase that kept dying, and this room with the guns akimbo. Once you reach to the end of this hallway, the ship must have hit another iceberg because the captain of this Titanic sucked. Anyways, this room leads to the final but dubiously useful weapon in your arsenal.
Rocket launcher!
This ain't no normal bazooka. The alt-fire stops time for the rockets. And believe it or not, you can pull a Bill Riser and surf on those things.
Rocket Ranger, ready to rocket!
The basic rockets don't deal splash damage, unless it's a direct hit on the enemy. Indirect hits only launches them. One notable weakness for the rocket launcher is that Mace is rocket proof. Unless you get an upgrade I'll explain later. The climax is another big boss known as the Leviathan. The previous build was practically a pushover, but now this boss had a new phase where it just straight up destroys the arena and uses body as the platform. This fight is wild. He spits out a load of projectiles that's an excuse for me to whip out the sharpshooter and wipe out almost half a health bar. He attempts to vor me, and his second phase is it blasting a laser beam that goes faster and faster. Also, you know what I did? Only 5 health remaining, boss is ready to strike. And I pulled a Popeye on this bitch.
I'm strong to the finish, cause I eat space spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
Now we're back in the old red layers again. Heresy is people consider what hell is like. Hellfire, brimstone, and droning music. I bought the launcher's red variant that spews out gasoline that'll immolate with explosives. This means that Mace isn't so rocket-proof when he's soaked in fossil fuels. I never touched the SRS cannon in this playthrough. Also, guess who's back, but as regular enemies this time?
I'm back to cause a commotion. I'm back to demoralize.
This level is the one I got my ass whooped the most, and it's mainly this room here where it spawns a Mace, a Sentry, and 2 Virtues. You gotta keep moving because the Virtues will blast you, but the Mace spits out a death beam of hell energy, and that Sentry can also wreck me. Remember the hierarchy of priority? Sentries are the top priority because of its devastating cannons. Mace can be blitzed with a variety of weapons, and the Virtues can be destroyed in one railgun blast while moving. Here's another hell room. The first wave spawned a Cerberus, Swords Machine, and 2 sentries, plus some fodder. Second wave spawns a Sentry, 2 Maurices, a Virtue, and more fodder enemies. It's a pain, but it's a battle. After another room full of enemies and a shielded Virtue protecting an idol, I slid my way to the next room until I heard his voice again.
Machine, I know you're here. I can smell the insolent stench of your blood-stained hands. I await you down below. Come to me.
Remember the hideous mask from Layer 1? Well, guess what? There's 2 now. Entering the finale of Act 2, I'm in the lobby with Gabriel playing that organ piano in the next room, monologuing on how hard I destroyed the previous layers of hell by ripping, tearing, and shooting.
Limbo, lust, all gone, with gluttony soon to follow. Your kind know nothing but hunger, purged all life on the upper layers, and yet they remain unsatiated. As to you, you've taken everything from me, machine. Now all that remains is perfect hatred. Machine, I will cut you down, break you apart, splay the gore of your profane form across the stars. I will grind you down until the very sparks cry for mercy. My hands shall relish ending you here and now!
Damn, I just smoked your ass first try.
Twice! Beaten by an object! Twice! I've only known the taste of victory, but this taste is this my blood? I've never known such relief. I need some time to think. We will meet again, machine. May your woes be many, and your days few.
Wanna know something? This was the first level I ever P-ranked. Crazy, right? And so that's the end of Act 2, and it's time for more of that intermission text. Gabriel, after getting his ass kicked by the funny blue robot twice, decided to ditch the place and head to the moon for some of that glorious introspection, questioning the actions and overall morality and what he's been doing under the orders of the Heavens Council. Staring at the remaining embers of the fire, he starts to realize something. The pieces given to him to put together never fit to begin with, and the people were following a god that wasn't there, with the memory and will are grown warped and twisted over time. Now a new path has opened for Gabriel. Why don't you follow your own will and ideals instead of a crooked council? Like properly reviewing a game yourself instead of relying on Metacritic. In other words, Gabriel went out to the council with pumped up kicks blasting through his holy headphones, slaying every member he sees. Before beheading the last council member, he told him that God is DED dead, like the Nine Inch Nails song Heresy. He knows that killing the last member won't give his wings back, and death will creep up with him when his 24 hours are up. Once he showed the remaining masses from the auditorium with the remaining head of a council member, that was the last time Gabriel was seen. Tune in next time where I cover Act 3, Godfist Suicide, with Layer 7, Violence. And then, the 2 Prime Sanctums. Fraud and Treachery will get a video once the game leaves early access. Eventually.